Welcome to Dance Mogul Magazine. We are live in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Elementz Dance Convention. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Good morning. My name is LaShawn Summers. I am the director of Fusion Force Entertainment Academy.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Can you tell me about your responsibilities here at the convention?
Okay, I like to kind of consider myself the mom of Elementz Dance Convention. We are hosting here at Harris Road Middle School, which happens to be the school that I'm actually a teacher at, 6th grade social studies teacher. But being the director of Fusion Force Entertainment Academy, several of our students are attending. We've partnered up with Chuck, being that we are right here local in our city of Charlotte. So my biggest role was making sure that everything was taken care of here at the facility. So making sure that all the doors were unlocked and everybody knew where to be, and having space for all the choreographers, and making sure that everything was set up and put in place, just kind of making sure everything is run smooth.
Okay, thank you. So how important is this for the city and for the students?
This dance convention is amazing for all students that are here. Charlotte has not had very many dance conventions, especially just for hip hop. Some of the other hip hop conventions are usually in Atlanta or other big cities outside of the area. So this is the first time that we've been able to bring these type of choreographers to this city. So a lot of times our students are having to travel miles away to receive any type of additional training other than just their studio training. So this brings the choreographers here and allows them not to have the pressure of having to go to New York or LA or Atlanta. So it's been a blessing to be able to have it here.
Okay, so the focus and the goal is for any of the students that have the passion for dance to get information, instruction, education, yes, all combined with the arts and encouragement.
Yes, and encouragement. The dancers that are attending this convention, these are dancers that are really wanting to move forward in the industry. These are dancers that are passionate, have kind of made up their mind that this is something that they love to do, and so why not train from the best? I've always told my dancers, my daughter, that if you want to become better at doing something, you need to train from the people who are considered the best, the people who are in the industry, the people who can teach you something. So it's like teacher to student. So these dancers are really students all weekend long, learning not only the craft of dance, but understanding what it takes to get to where you need to be. They understand the commitment level that it takes, and just the perseverance throughout the whole weekend. Because it's a lot of hard work going into from Friday to Sunday.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
You're a teacher here, and apparently you value the arts. A lot of schools in different areas is taking the arts out of the school system, but you're honoring it here. Why do you feel that the arts is valuable to students and to their wellness and their upbringing?
The arts are extremely valuable to students today. I have been a teacher now for 24 years, going on 25 years, and the base of my learning, because I was a student who grew up as a dancer myself. And so as soon as I became a teacher, the first thing that my body and nature did for me was I wanted to teach through the arts. And from my very first experience as being a teacher, I learned through students how students were so receptive to movement and to music, and it becomes like an international language. So students of all levels, of all backgrounds, of all learning styles, when I would put rhythm to something, I was a 4th grade teacher and I used to love teaching multiplication facts, and we would put on music and we would stand up and we would do our times tables, and I would get up and I would move the arms from the ones place to the tens place. So incorporating that, the student who may have had a challenge with just paper and pencil, when I was able to put rhythm to it and it made it fun and interesting, they forgot about the hard part of, oh, I can't remember this fact, or I don't know this. They were able to enjoy, and they begin to retain the information, because for teachers, what's important to us is not only through the process of learning, but how well are you retaining it. And the arts program is a way to help you. It's embodied into who you are. So when I worked at a visual and performing arts school, if we were working on, let's say, the planets, they would go to science class and learn about the planets. They would go to art class and they would draw and illustrate the planets. They would go to dance class and they would do a dance where one person was the sun and there was movement and stars. And so everywhere they went, we were incorporating the subject. So it became embodied in who they were, and they were able to learn. Even today in my own classroom, I'm teaching about the very first river valley civilization of Mesopotamia. And my kids connect through a rap and movement and dance, and every day they're asking me, can we do the rap again? Can we do this again? And you typically don't find it in a regular social studies classroom where the teacher says, okay, let's open to page 12 and read this paragraph and answer the questions at the end. So the arts are very important.
You're making it fun and
making
creative
fun,
learning, a new approach.
A new approach, yes,
Very
a new
good.
approach, and teachers have to be passionate and love what they're doing, because that will come across to the students, and they want to learn, they want to do better, and strive for excellence.
Yes, I believe that too.
Yeah.
How receptive is the parents to the arts and the value of the arts in the Charlotte area?
The parents definitely are receptive. When parents see their child being successful, because that's the bottom line. Parents want to see their children happy. They want to see their children successful and moving forward and progressing in life. And when they see a child come home and talk about how exciting the subject that they were learning at school because they were able to draw a picture about it, or mom, listen to this rap, or let's look at this YouTube video that we did. When they go home and share this information with the parents and want to show parents, you know that you've done something correct. So parents let me know all the time, thank you, Ms. Summers, thank you for the things that you do. My child, I can't get them to sit still. They're always in the car repeating the song. They want to share it with the family. They're even sharing it with their younger siblings. So parents are definitely appreciative of it. Our school system offers, our kids are learning to play band, instruments in band, and reading music at a very early age. So we have all type of clubs and programs that are offered to our kids from elementary school all the way through high school.
Are these programs free?
Yes, these programs are included in part of our school system. Almost every school in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools have a dance program, and in Cabarrus County schools here we have the arts. We have some schools have drama programs, they have music programs, they have art programs. Kids are learning how to play orchestra in the orchestra. So almost every school in the state of North Carolina incorporates all of the arts, as well as physical education and health education.
Oh wow, as a part of the regular curriculum?
As a part of the regular curriculum. Our students at this school in Cabarrus County at Harris Road Middle School, our students are able to take 2 elective classes as well as health for half a year and PE for half a year. So they are, throughout the day, they are being stimulated. They might have math first period, they might go and have art second period, they might come back and do the other core subjects, then they get to go do PE. So they're being stimulated throughout the day.
That's amazing. I always hear people talk about some people are right brain dominant,
Yes.
left brain dominant in terms of the way that they learn.
Right.
So if people believe these things,
Right.
they say that the arts is one side of the brain and so forth. So
Yes.
if people believe these things, I'm always curious as to why
Right.
they would try to take something like
something
that
out of that,
the
yes.
school system if that is a part of how we learn as people.
Exactly, yes, and it's sad, you know, some school systems are larger than others. A lot of times, you know, the politics gets involved, and they don't have the kind of budget that other school systems have. But if they really understood the importance of making a connection with all students and bridging the gap between everyone, because not all families and not all students are privileged enough to be able to take the extracurricular activity after school and to pay that monthly tuition at a dance school or at an art school or whatever type of extracurricular activity you're doing. So our schools are able to incorporate all of those things and provide those extracurricular activities for students that are not just teaching them those skills in self, but it's teaching them how to be a team member. It's teaching them commitment level. It's teaching them discipline, and it gives them a purpose. It gives them a purpose. It holds them accountable. When you are a coach, I also at the school have a step team, and I've been a cheerleading coach here. So when you are involved in groups, you have coaches that are holding you accountable, as well as your parents, and you become a village. And when kids enjoy doing those kinds of things, they want to continue to do well so that mom and dad doesn't take that privilege away from them. So it always gives them a goal or something to set themselves up for.
Wow, that's good. Thank you. Now, I know that back home, there's a lot of talk on the news about childhood obesity.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying that, America is in an epidemic, childhood obesity, kids are overweight, a lot of fast foods.
Right.
Now, is that a discussion that you guys have here as far as childhood obesity, and is dance and these extracurricular activities that you guys do, is that a part of how you go about approaching that?
Yes, I could tell you from the beginning, well, with Michelle Obama's take now on the, first of all, it starts with the cafeteria food in the schools. Now all the schools, especially the state of North Carolina, especially my school, they start feeding kids much more healthier than what they used to. The fatty foods are not even incorporated into the daily diet, and a lot of the things are baked, so it started there first, and teaching kids how to make the right selection with your fruit and your chips and this kind of things. If you're gonna,
that's the school
that's
curriculum?
within the, yes, our cafeteria offers the healthy foods, and the mandates that you have to have a fruit and you have to have this, they have to have one of each item, and in the morning they even provide breakfast. We have programs that provide free lunch for students. We have free lunch for students for families that qualify for free lunch. That means every student who qualifies is fed for free. That's breakfast and lunch every day. We have what we call reduced lunch if you qualify for that. That means instead of paying $1.20, you might just pay 40 cents. So it's like a reduced fee. So that's where it kind of begins. And then as far as the sports and the dance, all of those things together are keeping the kids well balanced. But it is definitely a topic. I was at a school where at a certain time of the day, we would all get up and we would do, it was called Healthy Active Child. And we would all get up and we would do some type of movement, whether we were outside on the track, whether we were in the classroom. And a teacher like me loved that because I grew up as a dancer. So I was the one that was up in my classroom and we were moving. And of course, that's when I would incorporate whatever we were learning about. So Healthy Active Child is a big part of the plan in the state of North Carolina, and it is something that all studios are aware of and all schools are aware of because obesity is an issue. And so I do even feel like fast food restaurants are doing a better job at making sure people are aware of their calories that they're eating. And you don't, just because you can supersize it doesn't mean that you have to supersize it. And there are other options and different ways of still being healthy but eating the things you enjoy. So we definitely incorporate that.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to talk about, since we're on the subject of health, I noticed your shirt, the Fusion Force.
Yes.
And I know that you work with Tom.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that relationship and what Fusion Force is?
All right, this definitely is something that has changed my life. I met Tom Hill probably about, I'm gonna say 4 years ago. My daughter grew up as a dancer from the age of 3 years old, and she took dance at a different studio in Charlotte, BB Dance Productions. She went through the whole competition era of dancing, and at a certain age, she was just kind of tapped out and ready to finish. And so when we pulled out, after about a while or so, I started seeing my daughter dance around and do hip hop around the house. And so being a teacher, a lot of my students would say, Miss Summers, you need to bring your daughter to our dance studio. There's a really cool guy there named Mr. Tom who I think she would enjoy. So I said, tell me about this class. So I went and checked out the class first because he offered a class for women, for adults, and it was just like a workout class. So I went and took the class first, and I was like, this is a cool man. And I could tell we came from the same era of time. And so he told me about the class that he offered for kids. So once Maya began taking dance with him, the next thing I know, we just kind of followed wherever Mr. Tom went. And before I knew it, we partnered up. We are so much alike. He's like a brother to me because we have the same, as far as dance is concerned, we have the same kind of passion and wanting to pay it forward for kids. I've always been, money was never an issue for me because as a teacher, we only get limited funds anyway. So I do so much outside of school that never was something that I was even paid for. I did it because I loved it. And so I was just that mom that was always at the studio with him and with the kids, and before you know it, I got a shirt that had Momager on the back. And so once we sat down and said, you know what, I think it's time that we could do this on our own. And so Mr. Tom opened up the Fusion Force Entertainment Academy and named me the director of the academy. My daughter has absolutely loved it. It has changed her life. It has set goals for her. She has realized that she has a passion for children, for teaching, for choreography, and this as a parent has been a blessing for both sides. This is something that I always wanted to do. I grew up as a dancer, so when I graduated from North Carolina A&T with my education degree, I always said that I still wanted to stay in the dance field. So working at Fusion Force Entertainment Academy has allowed me to continue the passion. So I'm like the mom of the studio.
That's great. That's just amazing. You know, it's just good to see someone so joyful and passionate about what they do, and I just can't stop laughing on the inside. It's just amazing.
Because you know,
yes,
you
I
can
do.
relate
It's
to
a great energy
Yes.
to experience you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. You work with Tom. You're here to this weekend at the convention. You're working so hard. You're helping to guide and keep the kids motivated and help them to understand and better learn their passion. So what do you see yourself doing in the future?
All right. Definitely my goal is I will be probably retiring from education. This is year 24, so probably do one more year and get 25 years teaching in, and then look to being full-time at Fusion Force. My sister and I more than likely will be opening a second studio that we will work together, which again has been an all-time dream, especially for my parents, for the two sisters to work together. So more than likely work the second studio. Hopefully Elementz is going to take off, and this may be something that we'll be traveling from city to city, so we can continue to pay it forward to all of the other students so that people across the country can have the same opportunity. So that definitely is what I see in my future. Fusion Force is here to stay. Fusion Force, with the name it is, we are a force to be reckoned with, and I definitely want to be a part of that and watch my daughter and all the dancers grow and develop into these industry dancers that Chuck is training them all to prepare for.
Yes, that's great. And one final question: is there anyone that you want to thank that has helped you throughout your life?
Yes, I definitely my parents, because children can't be who we are without the support of our family. So definitely my mom, David and Carolyn Turner. Next, I would say my dance teacher that I grew up with, Nina Wheeler. She is the owner of Nina's School of Dance in Durham, North Carolina. That was a huge part of my upbringing. That's where I became a technically trained dancer, tap, ballet, jazz, and everything, which those years prepared me for who I am. They've affected who I am all the way through my years in college. My first job was working at an after-school program. So those people in my life, those teachers, set the way to who I am today. And then partnering up with Tom Hill is like the last phase of the life to help me accomplish those goals that I always dreamed of. So being connected to Tom and Chuck have been amazing, especially Chuck and I went to A&T together, so it's nice to come back, and it's almost like our village. It's our little community, my dance family at Fusion Force. We wouldn't be who we are without the parents of Fusion Force and the support, because the kids aren't there without mom and dad. So when they're at late practices, mom and dad, we're at late practices. So I couldn't do it without the family of Fusion Force.
And before we close, what is it like working with Chuck?
Okay, Chuck is absolutely amazing to watch, because again, we are very similar in age. We were at A&T around the same time, but I enjoy watching Chuck because I like to see I like to see how the kids pay attention to him. They look up to him as a role model. In particular, my daughter is beginning to pattern her life after someone like Chuck. And as a parent, you sit back and smile, because when you see your child go in a certain direction, when they're following someone who is successful, someone who is leading in the right direction, who is giving them good advice, then what can I do other than sit back and smile? Because I already know what I'm instilling in my child, but the people around her is what as a parent we worry about. So someone like Chuck, she's in good hands, because he's got the personality. He talks about the importance of education and going ahead and getting that degree and establishing yourself with that first, and he's teaching them step by step what needs to be done. So I love what he does. I love who he represents. I love the way that he goes about doing it. He's very personable. The kids don't feel like they can't talk to him or can't communicate. I call him Mr. Hollywood, but at the same time I let him know, these are my babies that you messing with, and if you mess with them, you messing with me. So we have that kind of relationship that we work very well together. He's luckily we have that relationship that he comes to our studio and he continues to train our dancers, so it's been a blessing.
Well, that's really nice. Thank you, and
Thank you
continued
for
success
this
to you. And
interview.
it has been a pleasure meeting you, talking
Thank
to you, interviewing, and just experiencing you.
Thank you so much. Okay.